What is GSX doing? My goodness, what are you doing? What is GSX doing? Well, luckily this guy just finished his flight. What is GSX doing? Yeah, nice pushback. What's going on, guys? How we doing? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but today we're going to be hopping back into Microsoft Flight Simulators. We're sitting here in Denver, Colorado. We're going to be heading over to Portland in this Southwest liveried PMDG 737-800. Now, minus, a little bit of the GSX shenanigans, it ended up being a pretty good flight. I enjoyed myself, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video too. So what we're going to do now is hop on in the plane and get ready and do ourselves from a cold and dark start. Well, alright guys, here we are in the flight deck of the PMDG. I'm just going to immediately hop over to the overhead panel, get the battery on, ground power on, arm the emergency lights, make sure our nav lights are on, get the windshield heats on, get the IRSs starting to align, click a few extra buttons there to hear some noises, do some testing, even though we know, since this is a desktop flight simulator, we know things will work, as I don't have any failures planned. Not really my cup of tea. I'm looking to do some normal operations. And soon after, we'll be hitting the FMC, popping in our routing information, making sure that the flight management system knows where we are in the virtual world. As you can see here, pressurization panel, setting our cruise altitude. And then we'll be setting the altitude for Portland International Airport. Moving forward, pretty straightforward routing for today. Zimmer 3 departure, Hood 4 arrival. Not too many waypoints in between. So actually really not having to spend too much time on the super boring stuff in the FMC. You can see here I'm doing some fire tests. Checking to make sure that the right things are announced. And then we go on down here after that. We'll do our cargo fire test. All things are looking good, as we knew they would. It's still nice to do. Already loaded up our payload and our fuel, so we can get our seatbelt signs on. You can we'll be clicking on the hydraulic system here. We'll be telling GSX to board our virtual quote-unquote passengers, and we'll also get the AP. As cabin temps are, pretty hot, we'd like to get some airflow. Cool things off. All right, like promised, we're here in the FMC. As said before, we need to let the flight management computer know where we are. We're going to start off getting our routing info. Ooh, nope, I popped back up. Get the APU on the bus, that's important. Get the packs on, get the APU bleed on to actually get that air going. That way the APU isn't just running and not doing anything good for us here. Yaw damper comes on. Yep, hydraulic pumps come on. When you do this over and over again, you get a nice flow, and you sort of have it in the back of your head to prioritize. And, it might seem like I'm a little bit all over the place sometimes here, but more or less it's, it just becomes second nature as you go through things. So, as mentioned before, or perhaps not, actually, if we haven't mentioned it, this is Southwest Flight 467. Again here, popping in our routing information. Mainly direct twos. A few airways here. I'm going to pop up the routing information and a nice picture from Navigraph here. So we can at least get some nice graphics so you can see what I was looking at. As some of the breaks that you see here is me just referencing my second monitor for the information. But while this is going, I'm going to talk quickly about our, let's see here, I think maybe I'll get into the taxiing. Let me find the chart here for Denver. Yeah, we'll talk about the taxi real quick, because what I'm going to do is push back. We're on Concourse C, so I'll push back onto Charlie Sierra. Pretty straightforward taxi. We'll do Charlie Sierra, Mike 10 Mike. We're looking to take full length on runway 8. 12,000 foot runway. And from there, Let's see here. We'll be doing, as promised, as I'm setting up here actually, is the Zimmer 3 RNAV departure. Off runway 8, calls for ATC vectors. Main thing here, when we're coming off of 8, is that we need to be above 12,000 at rel. So what I end up doing here is essentially I fly runway heading initially, and then I'll make a turn to basically due north, continue the climb, and then do a direct rel feed. As we're seeing here, when you set up, when you initially get done with your departures and arrivals and you put in your legs and everything, you know, it's always good to double check to make sure there are no discontinuities or duplicates. And then you want to go here into the plan mode. You know, it's a sanity check. Just make sure everything makes sense. That way you're not surprised mid-flight, or if you got to step away for a few minutes as to what's actually happening here. Quick light test here, the Christmas tree. Now popping in here, I am on VATSIM, so Squawk 2000. And get ourselves onto Unicom 122.8.
315, established ILS runway 34 right, Denver.
It's good to have some, you know, there was actually a decent amount of people coming in and out of Denver, despite the fact there was no ATC. All right, going in here, looking at some of our performance information. And I'm grabbing this stuff off my main flight plan. As said, flight level 360 for today's flight. Popping in our cost index and our reserves, as well as our zero fuel weight. Cost index was 5. Again, I usually just go from the flight plan. That'll take into account what the forecasted winds are. I know some people tend to just go with, you know, same cost index every flight. For me, yeah, not too big a deal. Cruise winds, and then our outside air temperature for top of climb. We're going to hop into this afterward. We're going to go to N1 limit. Since we're lacking any sort of performance calculation, this is firing from the hip. I do 22K D rate, climb 1, 12,000 foot runway. Even though we're high altitude, we still got plenty of runway to spare. Here we go for the takeoff reference, flaps 5, as per usual. In a 737. Since everything's loaded, we can look at the CG, set our trims, get our V
Denver
speeds.
traffic, American 2315, 5 mile final runway 34 right, Denver.
Sorry about that. We'll get our V speeds up. And after this, and we set our trim, we're going to be hopping up to the MCP, ensuring that all the information matches there. So we want to pop our flight directors on. Arm the auto throttle. It's at V2 here. We're also going to set runway heading. Just always good practice, and in this case it works out well since we would have vectors for our departure. More than likely, if there were ATC, they would probably tell us to fly runway heading initially and then give us vectors. But again, since we don't have ATC, it's just good practice to do, and also good practice to have, you know, set runway heading regardless. I'm also going to set our initial climbing altitude at 12,000 since that is our first altitude that we need to be above. But we have plenty of time in departure, so that ends up not being an issue. Let's see here. Anything else I want to be discussing with you guys before we get going? Yeah, I mean, I think I covered all my bases. The only thing I'm going to be doing here is a jip whiz test. I like doing the jip whiz test, and I'll throw the throttles all the way forward just to do a takeoff config check. Other than that, though, everything's looking good, and we're going to get ourselves ready for push and start.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear. Terrain.
Denver traffic, Alpine 3030, 10 mile final, runway 35 right. Denver traffic.
So let's get going.
Denver traffic, American 2315, clear runway 34 right, taxiing to the ramp via Foxtrot, Charlie, Sierra. Denver.
Denver traffic, Southwest 467 is pushing off Concourse C facing east for runway 8, Denver traffic.
Locking gear. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
What is GSX doing? My goodness, what are you doing? Making me look foolish. Good Lord. Oh my goodness. What are you doing? What is GSX doing? What the f— oh my goodness. Holy cow. Well, luckily this guy just finished his flight. What is GSX doing? Yeah, nice pushback.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Oh my goodness. Get out of here. Go
Cockpit to
away.
ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Denver traffic, Walker 1942 Heavy will be departing off of runway 8 on the Epke 7 departure, RNAV to Kiddings for Denver.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Yeah, thanks for the push. Alright, full forward, full back, full left, full right, left, right. Okay. Double check the overhead panel. Everything's looking okay. Get these over to continuous.
Denver traffic, Southwest 1982, pushing back, Charlie A3 facing east, and I'll be out of the way of that Southwest, I just pushed back.
Southwest 467, I'm about to taxi. I'll get out of your way real quick. I'll be taxiing Charlie Sierra Mike 10 Mike for runway 8, Denver traffic.
Alright, cool, sounds good, I'll wait for you, thanks.
Thanks. Alright, looking clear there. Nothing coming down that way. Denver traffic, Southwest 467 will be departing runway 8. Zimmer 3 departure, RNAV Ralphie, Denver traffic. All right, let's get going. All right, here we go. Engine's up to 40. And toga.
Your speed's alive. Knots.
Check.
E1. Rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. All right, we'll bring the nose down. We'll start making our left-hand turn. Go flaps one. Just a gentle left-hand turn. Go flaps up. It's looking good. We can roll out. trivet. Oh, almost got away there. All right.
Denver traffic, Southwest 1982, departing runway 8, RNAV to FT at say east departure, Denver. Denver traffic, Walker 2978, taxiing Alpha Gates to 34 left via Whiskey Alpha, Denver.
Also set our cruising altitude. Three 360 once, twice, 3 times. There's Denver. Oh, I didn't set TARA. Wow. Oop. Well, all right, guys, welcome to the cruise. Hope you've been enjoying the video so far. I'm kind of going to step in here and just talk about a few things concerning myself, the channel, and a few other things. So, you know, feel free to skip forward, as I'll have a timestamp available to you to get into the arrival and approach phase of this flight. But while I'm here, you know, I just wanted to talk about a few things. I know it's been a long time since I uploaded a video. I'm a creature of habit, and of course I've been in the habit of not making videos at all, let alone having a consistent output. I'm an adult, and I'm also an adult college student. I'm doing a dual major in computer science and applied mathematics, and it takes up a lot of my time during the semesters, so often I wouldn't find, well, really the energy to hop in and make videos. But recently I've been inspired again, because I've taken some time out of flight simulation, and you know, it's just such a love of mine. I like coming in here and not only doing flights on my own in my private time for my own enjoyment, but I like making content, and I'd like to think that I could make some content here that would be unique in its own right, that would, be fun to watch, and also, you know, informative. I mean, my goal here is to learn and become better. I mean, there's always things I can do better in life in general, but certainly when it comes to flight simulation, since I'm not a pilot, I'm not pretending to be a pilot, I always am looking for ways to improve. And in a way, I think making videos like this one and the ones I've done previously could help me gain some sort of quote-unquote accountability for how it is I'm doing my flights. Like, I should probably be using checklists. I mean, come on, like, let's get with the program. I'm also going to try to be flying on VATSIM a bit more, again, to kind of up my game. And yeah, moving forward, these are sort of the things I'd like to be doing in terms of how I'm going to be making videos. And that leads me to one thing I definitely wanted to talk about, which will lead into another thing I'll get to in a second here, is that, I've been trying to record videos. I've done some hardware upgrades on my PC and peripheral hardware upgrades. And I gotta tell you guys, it's been an absolute pain in the ass getting things recorded. Things freezing, OBS not being happy at all with with Microsoft Flight Simulator. You're doing recordings, all of a sudden you realize the thing stopped recording 40 minutes ago, or I'm just doing a flight and the quality of the recording isn't great. I was trying to get the 787. I was looking to do a flight from Newark to Los Angeles, and Lord, it just would not work for the life of me. So super frustrating. This is like the 4th video I've tried to do, and luckily it's turned out pretty well, so I'm happy about that. That being said, this frustration has kind of spurred on a change in format for the videos that I'm going to be planning on doing moving forward in terms of flight simulation, which is sort of this retrospective commentary. I was having trouble doing flights and providing commentary while flying and then trying to keep track of information and doing all that. It just wasn't working for me. So I've kind of had to compromise, and I think this is a good direction for me to go, as it encourages me to do my best when it comes to flying, as well as providing you guys with some better commentary, to where I can be more focused while I'm going back over the video and discussing, hey, what happened? And I already know what happened, so it helps to give you guys a little bit more information in that way. So I hope you guys enjoy this style. Yeah, but let's talk about hardware upgrades, because I'm excited and I'd like sharing this kind of stuff. So the PC I have is it was a pre-built. I bought it as a pre-built. I didn't know what I was doing, and it's worked out perfectly fine. But I have upgraded many components along the way. However, a few quote-unquote stock components still remain. So let me just give you guys a quick rundown. I have an ASRock B360M motherboard with an Intel i7-8700 non-K SKU. That's still what's in my system. That's what came with it, and probably, I think at this point, my weakest component in terms of hardware. The PC initially came with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which the first thing I swapped out was to get 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance DDR4, 3200 megahertz, and that's what's running this machine. And yeah, absolutely no complaints with that. However, recently I made a pretty big purchase. The PC initially came with a Zotac RTX 2070 GPU, which, I mean, every video on this channel up until this one was recorded and rendered using that graphics card. Not a problem. I love the 2070, and now it's sitting in my closet because I've replaced it with an Asus ROG Strix NVIDIA RTX 3070 Ti. That's a whole big mouthful for a GPU upgrade. I got it at a good price. I waited until the GPU market came into what some would call a far more reasonable pricing than what it had been for the past few years, so I jumped on that. And I'm loving it. It's allowed me to up my settings, and things run much more smoothly. And let's see here. Oh, because I wanted this GPU, I had to upgrade my power supply. So what's, the rule of thumb when doing your PC hardware, or if you're building a PC or upgrading your components, don't cheap out on the power supply? Yeah, don't do it. So I upgraded my power supply, which was, I don't even remember what it was. It was a 600 watt. I ended up getting a Corsair, not Corsair, my goodness, an EVGA semi-modular 750 watt gold power supply, which, honestly I'm perfectly happy with it. So that being said, to complement that, I also splurged out and replaced my main monitor with, which had been and still is now my secondary monitor, which is a 27-inch 2560 by 1440p 60 hertz Dell monitor. My new monitor is an Asus monitor. I'm forgetting the exact model name of it, but it's 30 inches, 2560 by 1440p, 144 hertz. Can overclock, I think, up to 160 hertz. So, world of difference. It's also HDR capable, although my recording software doesn't allow me to cut and render HDR content. But let me tell you, Microsoft Flight Simulator, absolutely beautiful with HDR content. So, all of these upgrades. Oh yeah, and one last thing. It's been a while since I made a video, so here's the last thing on the hardware upgrades here. I upgraded my HOTAS. So I had the TCA Captain's side stick and throttle, which is perfectly fine. But I decided to upgrade to the Thrustmaster Warthog HOTAS, and boy oh boy, world of difference. Highly recommend if you can afford it. I mean, let's be honest. Like all of this stuff, I didn't buy all this stuff in one day. This has been months and months of saving up and getting piece by piece. So I just figured I'd like to update you guys, talk about this. I'm a hardware nerd. I'm a computer nerd. I'm a aviation and flight simming nerd. So just also to get that out there so you guys know what kind of specs I'm rocking. Okay, and the last thing I kind of want to talk about here in the cruise is, I just kind of want to mention things I'm looking forward to coming up in flight simulation. First things first, because of that taste of the 787, and you're going to notice a theme here of what I'm going to be talking about, I have three main things I'm interested to see show up in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The first, AAU2, the non-beta / full release. From what I've been able to do, albeit not record, the 787 is good, man. I mean, as a free upgrade, it's awesome. I love the 787. I don't think we're going to be getting, at least, I mean, who knows, man, when it comes to whether or not, what's the company name? Quality Wings, right? Supposed to be doing a 787. I love the 787. I think it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite looking aircraft. So I wish we could have a PMDG level 787 in the sim, but I mean, listen, I'm not going to hold my breath. And to be fair, the AAU2 beta so far and the updates they've done as of May 22nd, awesome. Big upgrade over the default 787. The next one I'm looking forward to, Aerosoft A330. I mean, I feel like that's an aircraft that should be coming along any month now. I don't want to say day, but month now. Have the Aerosoft CRJ. It's a good plane, and I know they're not aiming for the 330 to be study level, right? PMDG, Phoenix level, whatever. But it should be good for normal flight operations, which is exactly what I, do all the time. So, I love the A330. Be good to have a decent / good rendition of it in flight simulation in general, as I think, honestly, I mean, what do we even have in the X-plane sphere? I mean, the jar? Ugh, not really a thing. I know the headwind. I know a lot about the headwind. A330 project is going on, so haven't really checked that out myself, but nonetheless, I've been looking forward to the Aerosoft A330 for quite some time now, so that should be awesome. Hopefully it comes sooner rather than later. And finally, the thing I've really been looking forward to, which, I mean, any day now, TM, or any month now, TM, are the, the other two main product lines for PMDG, the 777 and 747, mainly the 777. Listen, the 7.3 has been my absolute go-to mainstay product. It's, it's stable. It performs well considering all the functionality you get from it. So, the 777, oh boy, I cannot wait for that. So, hopefully we get some information soon. I don't know, probably not. I'm not going to hold my breath for this summer. I'm thinking maybe fall. Hopefully, definitely by like Christmas time, I'd think we'd get the 777. The 7.4, who knows? Who knows? That, that's way too far off. But if you've noticed all these three things I've been talking about, long haul. I want good long haul aircraft, man. Like, I'm ready. I've been waiting. I cannot wait for these things to come to fruition, as I feel like they're going to add a lot to the sim. And speaking of adding more to the sim, actually one more thing I'm going to append on here. Phoenix, I know, just put out a statement about getting the IAEs, and they're overhauling a lot of the flight model and the engine modeling and, you know, textures and optimization and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to when that ends up coming to fruition too, as I'm thinking about doing a video here on the channel in the A320. I'm just a little hesitant because of performance considerations, OBS and the like. So, you know, definitely looking forward to that too. So, guys, I know I've been going on for a little bit. If you've been listening to this, thank you so much. And you know what? Hope you've been enjoying the views, and I think it's time to get into the arrival and approach phases of this flight. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
Portland International Airport HS information Victor 1753 Zulu Special. 1260 at 10. Visibility 10. 5,000 scattered. Ceiling 6,000 overcast. Temperature 16. 2.3. Altimeter 3025. Simultaneous visual approaches in use runways 28 left and 28er. Jet aircraft expect the mill visual approach. Departing runways 28 left and 28er. Notices to air mission. Pushback onto taxiways Tango and Kilo requires ATC clearance.
Portland traffic, Southwest 467 is descending via the Hood 4 arrival for ILS 28 left, approximately 10 minutes. Portland traffic. Well, alright guys, what you just heard there is the hiatus for Portland. We're still on VATSIM at this point, and we've been descending via the Hood 4 RNAV arrival. We took the JOTBA transition. We've just added in VNAV, since again there's no center or approach online. Right now we're just crossing, or I should say, we're just going by Hood. We're heading to the Schaefer transition for the ILS approach, runway 28 left. I'd already taken the liberty to put in all the performance information we needed here in the FMC. We'll be doing a flaps 30 landing. Set our minimums to 306 baro, have our ILS DME tuned in already, 110.5, course 428 left is 283 degrees, and as you'll be seeing here shortly, descend down until we catch and establish ourselves in the ILS, and then we'll be setting our altitude to 4,000 feet just in case we need to go missed. Spoiler alert, we did not go missed approach, but either way, there it is. So what we got coming up here then is our final approach into Portland. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that. And just one quick thing you're going to see coming up here as we're on final, after I announced myself on, I believe, 10-mile final, I got pinged by ATC at Portland, which was a little weird because ground was on, so I was just expecting to be able to land. I got pinged by this weird message, I'll put that up on the screen, from Tower telling me to contact 0.00. And as I talked about in the cruise, in case you listened to that or if you skipped it, you know, it's been such a pain recording that I didn't even know what to make of that, so I just disconnected. So you'll see that coming up, because I just wanted to get the flight done and have no problems, especially when I'm finally on final. That being said, we land 28 left, a little long, and then we'll be taxiing back via Bravo 2, Bravo Mike, cross runway 3, and head ourselves right into a gate. So let's check it on out, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Portland traffic, Southwest 467 is established, ILS runway 28 left, 10 miles, Portland traffic.
2500.
Oof. Well, definitely was a little firm there on the landing, but not horrible. Not great. Never claimed to be a professional pilot. Also missed the turnoff I wanted. I would have rather had Echo, but instead we rolled a little long and took Bravo 2. But while we're taxiing back, cleaning up the aircraft, again, just want to thank you for watching this far. I hope you enjoyed the video. Gonna leave you with us pulling into, well, ramp real quick here, as the taxi is really short. Maybe a shot or two afterwards of the aircraft. And yeah, that'll be all for me. Hope to catch you guys again in another video, and hope you guys take care.